Hi everyone, and hi to Debbie. It's great to do this video with you on behalf of City and Guilds, and thank you very much for giving up your time to promote the associate roles that City and Guilds have to offer. I know everyone will be really keen to hear from you, Debbie, especially as you are someone who's actually doing the work. By way of a bit of an introduction, could you tell us a little bit about the role or the roles that you do as an associate with City and Guilds, and how long you've been with the organisation?
Hi Tim, I've been working with City and Guilds for approximately 2 years. I initially started working with City and Guilds as a assessment writer, and from then on I developed my role and became a reviewer. I've also got involvement as a scrutineer, and I work as a principal moderator, a principal examiner, and I'm also a team lead as well on some of the exam papers that City and Guilds have to offer.
Oh wow! So quite the portfolio. And what is it that actually inspired you initially to look for or to look at the associate roles and to apply to City and Guilds to explore this new avenue?
As a teacher of 20 years and as an examiner of 20 years, something which I've always enjoyed, I applied because the centre that I was working with at the time was moving forward into T levels. So that's what I applied for initially, looking at those roles, and the challenge of T levels as well was extremely interesting to me. And to be able to teach the learners and learn all about the knowledge that T levels were going to bring as well. So it was to get the inside knowledge and then obviously pass that on to the students.
Yeah, absolutely. And T levels have seen such an increase in recruitment over the last couple of years. And we know there are lots of different roles within City and Guilds, and they each have different requirements, which you can find in the job advert, the role requirements, as it were. But aside from those, what would you say are the core requirements of an associate?
So the core requirements, I believe, are it's being able to communicate. So as a team lead and also as a principal examiner and principal moderator, it's making sure as an associate that you're communicating with your team lead. If there are any issues that you're having, just keep them in the loop. Then no one's going to get annoyed or, you know, say you can't do the post anymore. It's just making them aware. And if anything does happen, that we've got something in place to overcome that. It's also being able to manage your time effectively. It's sticking to deadlines and meeting deadlines. Again, if you can't, making sure that you're communicating that. Being aware that you're able to get really heavily involved in problem solving. So if you're undertaking an assessment writing activity, for example, it's being aware that other people may have their insight into it and being willing to work as a team and take on that extra knowledge and share and developing knowledge as a team.
Absolutely, they all sound like really, really vital skills to bring to the organisation. And you mentioned at the start you'd had quite a portfolio of different roles while you've been at City and Guilds, and there seem to be an awful lot of roles available. What are some of the key differences between the roles?
So between the roles, as an assessment writer, you tend to have a larger window in which time you've got to do that work. So one of the benefits of that is you're able to manage your own time and you're able to kind of meet your own deadlines with that, as long as you're keeping the assessment managers aware of whether or not you're going to fall behind. Some of the other roles, for example, like examining, it's being able to complete and undertake the standardization activities within set periods of time. And your team lead may require that you mark an X amount of exam papers within, say, 2 or 3 days. If you can't meet that expectation, just let the team leaders know that you can or can't make it. But there's lots of different deadlines according to what you do. You can get involved in a massive variety of roles as well. You can do a lot of remote activity where you're working from home. You're working alongside the actual commitments that you've got within your own centres if you're working in a centre. You can also do face-to-face work in centres, so that may be that you participate in moderation roles. So you'll go out and do advisory visits, for example, to a centre and give them some encouragement and some guidance and gentle support of how they can improve their processes moving forward. So there is absolutely lots and lots of things you can get involved in. There's endpoint assessor roles that you can get involved in. And there's lots of different avenues. It's not just T levels, it's not just technical roles. And you can also go through a huge scope of different levels.
That sounds really interesting. It sounds like there's a really great range of possibilities that you could explore. Now, you obviously really enjoy the work that you do as an associate, but then that's obviously key to the role. But what would you say are the main benefits for anyone who is considering this work, maybe alongside their current commitments, whether it be both personal or professional?
So you get to collaborate with sector colleagues. It's a brilliant learning opportunity for yourself, for you to develop your own knowledge and develop your own skill set. It's flexible, so that's one thing that I really love about doing this role. So you can work as and when your commitments need you to. So if you want to work late at night, you want to work early in the morning, and you've got other commitments in the day, for example. City and Guilds is a well-known awarding organisation as well, so it's something fantastic to have on your CV. And being honest, the extra pay is pretty nice. I do like to pay, and as you know, money makes the world spin. Developing CPD as well, which is a fantastic thing, and you're applying that to the actual. If you are teaching in a current teaching role, you're applying all of this extra knowledge and sharing all of this to your students, as well as you're sharing that to the team of staff that you may be working with, which I found has been really fundamental. Another thing is, when I first joined City and Guilds, my background is mechanical engineering, and what I found is absolutely fantastic in 2 years. I've been able to get involved in other pathways, such as looking at the maintenance side of engineering, as well as looking at manufacturing process control, which is something I never thought I'd even look into, but that's something I've got a lot of involvement in now, which it's fantastic to get those opportunities.
That sounds really interesting. I love that reflection on CPD as well, and the fact that you can use your development within City and Guilds, your personal development within City and Guilds, and apply that to your work, whether it be in a centre or elsewhere. That's really nice. So there might be some people watching this or listening to this who have no experience in working for an examining board or working in this kind of situation. Is there any training and support available for people who are, new to the area and are thinking about the associate roles?
Yeah, there's absolutely tons of training. And as a new moderator or a new examiner or a new person to an associate position, whether it be an assignment writer, whether it be someone who goes out and does advisory visits, or a total quality assessor, someone who goes out and actually does approvals for centres, you are mentored by a team lead, and that team lead will help you through all of the processes that you need to undertake. There are regular drop-in meetings that you can attend, and they tend to be around about lunchtime, so you can drop in, you can drop out of them. They also have additional meetings which may be able to run of an evening, outside of working hours as well. It's all to do with being a flexible environment that you're working in, but it's flexible working hours as well. And it's a lot of support and guidance from the lead associate as well. So I work with the technical team and the associate team, and any queries I can pick up the phone to either team, or I can send them an email and you get a response, almost within the same day. So it's fantastic. You also get RAG rated as well on your achievements and how you're progressing. So you understand constantly where you're going wrong. And instead of, for example, a examiner, you're getting standardized and you're asked to mark X amount of papers and you're not getting a particular question right. The approach that we have for one of our papers is, rather than getting the examiner to mark the entire paper again, we get them to focus on key parts of questions where they can develop and understand and get to grips with the paper, rather than just saying, oh, you haven't met the standardization criteria. So it is very focused on guidance and support.
It sounds really reassuring for anyone who might be new to exploring the world of City and Guilds and examining and assessment. Another question then, I suppose a bit more of an admin type question, but if individuals are interested, how should they apply? And do you have any top tips that you would share, as I know you have reviewed applications for some of the roles within the recruitment process?
So I would advise if anyone does want to apply for a role, it's making sure that you read the job specification criteria and make sure that you're actually stipulating what knowledge and experience you've got and what you can bring. If you haven't got any knowledge and experience as an associate, that's fine as well. Just try to incorporate where you have got the skills for that particular subject area, for example. It may be that you've touched on, one of my first jobs as an engineer was working in electronics. That's not my specialism, it's mechanical engineering, but I could still include that within my applications. It's an avenue you could potentially look at, and it may be questions that pop up on a core paper, for example. And it's making sure that you're including the experience that you've currently got that you can bring to the role. And it's including those softer skills that you're able to basically adhere to and bring to the role. So it's that you're happy to work as a team member and you're happy to take on critical thinking and, being able to support the team, and you're happy to work flexibly and meet deadlines.
That's really good to know. Thank you very much. And I suppose to round off really with a final question or final point. If there was one, everyone loves a takeaway. Everyone loves a key takeaway. So what is the key takeaway for viewers or listeners to this that they should take away from this discussion?
I'd say City and Guilds are a fantastic organisation to work with. They're very supportive with the training and when you're joining the role. And to be honest with you, if you want to make a difference in the engineering sector, particularly, apply and help support the next generation of engineers if their aspirations.
That is such a key thing to take away, the support for young people and new entrants into the fields of engineering and STEM in general. Really key. So thank you very much, Debbie, for your time today. I think it's been really useful to give listeners and viewers some key information about the associate roles at City and Guilds, and hopefully it's encouraging plenty of people to apply. So visit the website, pop on, find out more, and hopefully click that apply button.
Thanks very much, Tim.
Cheers. Thank you, Debbie.
Bye.